Okay. I don't know what happened, y'all. Okay. Well, that did not work as planned. Okay, y'all, hold on one second. I gotta go back. Don't get mad, Kendra. Don't get mad. Don't be stressed. Okay, don't be stressed. Don't be stressed. No stress. Let me edit. Hold on, I gotta go back to the last video. Take that one to private. And then start the new one. Hold on. I don't know what's happening here. Okay. All right. So back again, starting over. I don't know what happened. Let me text one person real quick, Miss Wilma. I think maybe I touched something and this cord is really sensitive. Oh, Jesus. Just one thing and then another thing. Okay. So again, we are talking about stress and hair loss. I will be even quicker than I thought I was going to be the first time because we had some technical difficulties. And the link that I had for their previous live has now been closed because YouTube shut it off. All right. I don't know what happened or why it happened. It happened. So we're going to move forward. So if you have ever noticed that your hair is shedding like crazy, especially around the times or, after a time that life gets really stressful, maybe it's something happening at work. You've got deadlines. It's the holiday season. Okay. You got family responsibilities or it's just everyday chaos. All right. But suddenly you are noticing more hair in your brush than on your head, more hair in the sink than in your comb, more hair on the pillow than in your head. Like it's just a bunch more hair that you're noticing. And it's starting to get you a little bit frustrated. Okay. You're getting concerned. Now, I want you to know that you are not alone, okay? And so today we are diving deep into a topic that affects so many of us. And I know this is a topic that hits home for many because anytime I do a video on this topic, a blog post, a regular post, I get so many people that comment or engage and interact with that type of content. Okay, I even did a poll on my community page and ask people to select a topic. Anytime I put stress or anything about stress and hair loss, it always gets lots of votes. Okay. So stress does not just mess with your mood and your sleep. It that is one of the things. But today we are specifically talking about the toll that it takes on your hair health. So in fact, in case you didn't know, that stress can actually cause your hair to stop growing temporarily. And this is something that a lot of people deal with, and it's way more common than you think. Okay, so what can we do about it? In today's video, I'm going to break down how stress affects your hair from root to tip, literally. All right. And then most importantly, I'm going to give you some simple, actionable steps to protect your hair, even during the most stressful times. So trust me, uh, you don't have to let stress win. There are some certain things that you can do, and we're going to talk about those. So stick with me, and by the end of this live or by the end of this video, you'll feel more empowered. Okay, you'll feel more empowered to take charge of both your stress and your hair health. And then if you've got questions, go ahead and put those in the comments, and I will be answering them as we go. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, if you're new here, my name is Kendra, the founder of 180 Hair, and I help women over the age of 40 transform their hair health with natural, holistic solutions. Okay. Now, let's start with a little bit of science behind stress and hair loss. All right, just a little bit. We're not going to get too sciencey. Okay. Now, um, I think it's important to understand what's happening. And this really kind of helps you to get a bigger picture and understand why it's so important for you to take control. Okay. Now, when you're stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. We talked a little bit about this last Thursday when we did the live about hair loss and nutrition. Okay, now cortisol is fine in small doses. It is okay for your body to release cortisol, and it's actually helpful when you're having to tackle a challenge or deal with something. But when stress sticks around for a long time and your cortisol levels stay elevated, this is kind of considered like a hormonal imbalance. And that's when problems begin to start. Okay. So one of the ways cortisol impacts your hair is by disrupting your natural growth cycle. Now, in a nutshell, your hair grows in three phases. Okay, you have the growth phase, the transition phase, and then the resting or the shedding phase. Now, when you're under a lot of stress, okay, this can push your hair into the shedding phase a lot sooner than it normally would. All right. So this means that you'll have excessive hair loss. When your hair normally sheds 50 up to 100 hairs per day, that is part of your normal growth cycle, the shedding phase. But when you are dealing with stress, that number increases significantly. So this amount of hair loss that you see, you will definitely be able to tell the difference. Okay. So if you think about how stress impacts your hair, I want you to think about your follicles, each of your follicles like little factories. Okay. When you are stressed, it's like the little workers of these factories get told to stop working, stop producing. Okay. Now, when they do that, they go on a long break or a long vacation, right? So they just stop. The little workers in these little follicle factories, they stop working and they are no longer producing. And so as a result, your hair stops growing. And then a few weeks to months later, you'll notice clumps of hair coming out. Or it could be clumps of hair, maybe a little less, it could be more, but you will definitely notice a difference. So like I said, when you're shampooing or washing or brushing your hair, even running your fingers through your hair, you will notice a difference. But here's the thing. This is why I call hair loss due to stress one of the sneakiest hair loss sneakiest types of hair loss there is because it's not always immediate. You may feel stressed out today, but you may not see the hair loss or the shedding for up to 3 months down the line. Now, this delay can make it hard for you to connect the dots between the stress and the hair loss, right? But trust me, these things are definitely linked. Okay. So how do you know if your hair loss is stress related? So here are some common signs to look for. So if you're dealing with excess shedding, okay, that means, like I said, you're noticing more hair in your brush, on your pillow, or in the shower, in the drain. If you're dealing with thinning, your scalp may start to look more visible, especially around your crown or the part, like if you part your hair down the middle, you start to see more of your scalp. A sudden onset. So if you recently experienced like a stressful life event, like an illness or loss, or even if you're doing like some of that crazy extreme dieting and you notice increased hair loss, stress could be a culprit behind that. And then also delayed growth. So your hair may take longer to bounce back after shedding. So if you're noticing that you're not seeing uh, growth in your hair as you normally would, this could be an effect or result of stress related hair loss. All right. But the good news with this type of hair loss, if you want to consider any good news with this, is that it's usually temporary. Once you address the stress and support your hair's natural growth cycle, it can start to recover. But just like everything else, this is going to take patience and consistency and care on your part. So this is what we're going to focus on in the next section, okay? So, actionable solutions. Now that you know how stress can affect your hair, I want to quickly talk about solutions, okay? Because while you can't avoid stress all the time, okay, you can manage how it impacts your hair health. There are some things that you can do to help manage that. And I'm going to give you 4 practical things that you can start doing. Especially, you can start doing these things today, especially if you know you are dealing with something stressful. Like I said in the beginning, it is the holiday season. This can typically be a stressful time of year for a lot of people. Okay, it can feel overwhelming. But even if you are not stressed or overwhelmed at this time, take note of these things because they can help you somewhere down the line. Okay, so the first thing is manage your mindset to lower your stress levels. The first step is to tackle the stress. Okay, like we don't want to bypass this step. There are things that you should do anyway. Forget about hair health and hair loss for a second. There are some things that you should do regardless if you are dealing with stress, to calm your mind so that your body can respond accordingly. A few techniques, and these are going to sound very, very simple, but I want you to hear me out, okay? So the first one is deep breathing exercises. Have you noticed that if you are under stress or if you are upset or mad, that somebody will say, just take a deep breath, just breathe. Now, this is not just something that people say for the hell of it, okay? Actually taking deep inhales, inhaling deeply, holding it for a few seconds, and then exhaling slowly through your mouth helps to lower your cortisol levels. This also helps to reduce tension. You do this a few times, I'd say for 5 minutes. This will help significantly. You may not necessarily feel it, but your body is doing what it's supposed to do. So remember, take deep breaths. That's going to be important. And then physical activity. This is one of my favorites. Exercising releases endorphins. Endorphins are your natural stress fighters. So even a 20-minute walk, that's why I always tell y'all, exercise, get your body moving, do something. All right. This can make a huge difference in your mood. And then the next thing is sleeping more and stressing less. Poor sleep fuels stress. All right. So listen, sometimes we go to bed and we stress and then we don't get enough sleep and then we wake up even more stressed than we was when we went to sleep because we did not get enough rest. All right. So I would say I could tell you how many hours to sleep, but everybody is different. I'm a long sleeper. I'm the type that requires the maximum amount of sleep I can get. Okay. And I heard someone say many years ago, the amount of sleep that your body naturally needs is how much sleep you get without an alarm to wake you up. Okay. Because having an alarm waking you up in the morning isn't natural. It disrupts your sleep cycle. So if you say, for instance, go to bed at 10 p.m., if your body naturally wakes up at 8 o'clock a.m. without an alarm and you wake up and you feel refreshed, that's how much sleep your body needed. So, just think about that. Another thing is drinking like calming teas, chamomile, lavender. These are great if you don't like to drink teas before bed because maybe they send you to the bathroom all night. Then get a humidifier, get chamomile or lavender essential oil. Excuse me, put those in your humidifier and they will definitely help. Okay. And then, so another thing we can do to help with the stress of hair loss due to stress is our habits. Okay. Now, these are things that you should be doing regardless of if you're under stress or not. And the first one is doing your scalp massages. Okay. A 5-minute scalp massage daily It is relaxing, but it's also helping to stimulate blood flow to your follicles. Okay, we talk about that a lot also. Stimulating blood flow to the follicles. And then for added bonus, you always or want to try to use an oil. So you can use your favorite oil to do the scalp massage. You can go on 180hair.com and grab the balm, okay? But I would always recommend using some type of natural oil or natural ingredient to do your scalp massages or in addition to your scalp massages. And then when you are detangling, you want to be mindful that when you are under stress or when your hair is under stress, it's more fragile, it's typically more prone to breakage. So when you are detangling, you want to make sure you're using a wide tooth comb. You want to use your fingers, start from the ends, work your way up, avoid yanking and pulling. All of those things are going to be important, especially when your hair is wet. All right. And then your protective styles. So you want to reduce manipulation. So that means reducing how much you are actually putting your hands in your hair each day. And we do this by tucking our hair away under braids, wigs, protective styles, buns, twists, whatever you fancy, my friend. Just make sure it is not super tight, because then it is no longer a protective style. All right. And then the third thing we want to talk about is nutrition. Again, we talked about nutrition on last Thursday's video, and I told you specific vitamins, minerals, and supplements that you should be looking for. But I just want to touch on that really quick. So you know that they say you are what you eat, all right? And so is your hair. So stress can actually deplete whatever nutrients that your hair needs to thrive, all right? So focus on foods that help restore balance and support your hair growth. So these are going to be your B and C vitamins, of course. Of course, you want to stay hydrated. We could talk all day on the hydration. And then if you are somebody that likes to snack, like me, I would say keep it simple. Do things like almonds, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate. And of course, these things are always in moderation because they're still calories. Okay. If you're trying to watch your weight or, cholesterol and things like that, you just want to make sure that if you are snacking, because I know sometimes when we stress, we snack, we stress eat. Okay. We stress eat when we're stressed. So just make sure when you are reaching for something that it is somewhat healthy. All right. And then last but not least is creating a relaxing routine. Sometimes the best way to fight stress is to create little moments for yourself that keep you calm. This not only benefits your mind and your body, but also gives you a little TLC time with your hair. Okay. So this means, finding those little indulgences that you like for your hair. If it's like a weekly or doing like a deep condition with your favorite fragranced conditioner. A lot of times when you're under stress, you need to enhance your senses, like your sense of smell, your sense of touch. Those things can kind of help to calm you. Maybe lighting a candle, playing soft music. Again, like I said, just taking deep breaths. These things sound very simple. I always say that sometimes it's the simplest things that have the biggest impact. All right. Dedicating certain days of the week, if you can, to make sure you're properly cleansing your scalp. This doesn't mean doing a complete wash day, but there are ways that you can cleanse your scalp without having to actually shampoo your entire head. Okay. So just remember that the key really is consistency. Stress relief, I get it, does not happen overnight. And I know some of you may be watching this saying, girl, scalp massaging ain't gonna help my stress. But I'm telling you, it will help. It may not take your stress away, but the little things can definitely help. All right. So just knowing that, I know that stress relief doesn't happen overnight, but neither does your hair regrowth, neither does hair recovery, neither does hair health. It doesn't happen overnight either. So you just need to start incorporating the right habits so that you can see progress, and not just in how you feel, but how your hair looks and all of that good stuff. Okay. All right. So that was the content that I had. I told y'all it was going to be quick. now it's time to do some Q&A. If you all have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the comments. I do have some questions that I'm going to answer that I received offline from some of our subscribers, kind of related to this video. So I'll go ahead and answer those. So also, those of you that are still here, I apologize. The initial link that I had for the live got, I don't know what happened to it. Sometimes YouTube does that. It'll kick me off of my live stream and then I'll have to go back and create another one. So that's what happened. So those of you that stayed or came back to this one, I appreciate you. So Miss Wilma, I see you. Thank you so much. D. Christopher, thank you so much for being here. Whoever else is on, if you would please go ahead and hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please, please, please subscribe to the channel. And I see your question. I'll link below the website. So 180hair.com is where you can purchase any of the products that I talk about. So we have all natural hair care products. I'm working on launching one skincare product that will be ready hopefully by next week. We also have some digital resources. I have blog posts. Okay, so there's a lot of resources on their website. You find what you need. And if you have questions, you can always come back to this video or go to the community page to ask those questions. Okay. All right. So I have a question from one of our viewers that goes by the name on YouTube, Van Henry 5614. And the question that this person had, because I don't know if it's male or female, is I'd like your thoughts on frequent hair washing to stimulate growth and cleanse the scalp, daily or more than once per week versus once a week or longer. So they're basically asking, what are my thoughts on washing your hair to stimulate growth and cleanse the scalp? Should they do it daily or a few times a week, or should they wait, longer? So here are my thoughts. This is a great question. Here are my thoughts on hair washing. Okay. Now, of course, it has benefits, but it really depends. It's going to depend on your hair type. It's going to depend on your scalp health. It's going to depend on your goals. It's going to depend on how often you use products, how often you are putting things on your scalp. Do you sweat a lot? Do you go to the gym a lot? Like a lot. There are many things to consider. Okay. Now, for daily or frequent washing, this works well for people, especially if you have an oily scalp or if you sweat a lot, like I said, from exercise, or if you work outside or something like that. It helps to keep your scalp clean, because we talk about the scalp being the foundation for healthy hair growth. So a clean scalp, keeping your scalp clean and doing scalp massages while you're cleansing your scalp can stimulate blood flow, all right, during washing. So this is great for follicle health. Now, if you wash your hair too much, especially with harsh shampoos, of course, this can strip your natural oils, leading to dryness or irritation. Now, to answer the question regarding once a week or longer, now if you have dry hair, curly, coily hair, I would say wash less frequently to preserve the natural oils and to keep your hair moisturized. Okay. If you are stretching your wash day out, so if you're only cleansing or washing your hair every 2 weeks or once a month, just make sure you are keeping your scalp clean. Okay, so there are ways you can do scalp care in between wash days. Definitely check some of the blog posts that I have on doing that. And I also have some videos on how you can do that as well. Natural ways to keep your scalp clean. Okay, the key is going to be balance. Regardless of how often you wash your hair, choose a gentle shampoo, follow up with hydration. Okay, so I hope that answers that question, and I will tag this person in the comment section just so they know I answered their question, because I did tell them I would answer their question. So I'm just going to tag them here. All right. So next question. Okay, Miss Wilma, I see you're outside. Thank you again. And thank you so much. Highly recommend 180 Hair Products. I appreciate that. Okay, so here's some questions that I received that are specifically related to stress when it comes to hair loss. I'll answer a couple of these and then I have to jump off. So the first one is, how long does it take for hair to recover from stress after shedding? Typically, once the stress is managed, you'll start to see regrowth within 3 to 6 months. Again, it's going to be patience and consistency is going to be key because remember, like I said, a lot of times the hair loss does not show up until months after the stressful event. So if you can make the correlation between the two, then just know that it's normal and that it will get back to your hair growth cycle will get back to how it's supposed to be. And then another question is, can stress cause permanent hair loss? Okay. Stress related shedding or stress related hair loss is usually temporary. Like I said, it's usually temporary. But if you are combining stress with other things like poor hair and scalp health, not eating healthy, doing all of these things, it's going to make it harder for your hair to get back on track. Just know that. So managing your stress, nourishing your scalp and your body from the inside out is going to be important. Okay. All right. So those are two questions that I think are important for us to know. And if you have questions after this live, if you're watching the replay, just put them in the comments and I will definitely come back and answer those. Okay. Now, again, there are products on the website 180hair.com, and those products are all natural hair and scalp treatments. So everything that I have is something to help with hair and scalp health. The soothing scalp oil, this is going to be great if you are dealing with an itchy or irritated scalp, especially if you're wearing protective styles. The balm is my #1 selling hair growth treatment. This is for hair and scalp health as well. And then we have the spray and go conditioning mist. This is great for hydration. You can hydrate your hair and your scalp with this one product, and this is great. It's all natural. Okay, so those are just a few of the products that you can find. And Miss Wilma says, everyone drink plenty of water. Yes, I said this last week. I think in the winter or in the colder months, we typically don't drink as much water as we do in the warmer months. So just keep that in mind. And if you have a hard time remembering, put an alarm on your phone or download an app. There are tons of apps that will remind you and help you track the amount of water that you're drinking. Okay. And if you have enjoyed this live session, again, like I said, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on. I'm trying to be consistent in doing these lives every Thursdays at 2 p.m. With new tips and tricks and hair health strategies to help keep you motivated and growing and keep everything on track. Also, when you go to the website, if you would like to, you can join my email community. You'll get a 20% discount for your first order on the website. All right. You'll get access to all of my insider scoop, the first to know when I'm launching new products or when something's back in stock or when it's about to go out of stock, all of that good stuff. Okay. All right, y'all. This one says spray and go. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Spray and go is the truth. All right, Miss Wilma, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I really hate that my initial live got canceled, but nonetheless, here we are. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. As usual, I want you all to remember that you deserve hair that is healthy and growing, and it is my mission to help you get there. Okay. Thank you all for spending time with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.